right, welcome to the August meeting of the Connersville Park Board. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fantastic. Thank you very much. All right. Kate, how about hello?
Hello.
Hello. How about a roll call?
Absolutely. Carrie Pfeiffer.
Here.
Amy Hammonds. Vane Lashua. Angie McMullen.
Here.
Julie Fisher.
Here.
Ann Kirschner.
Okay, we do not have a quorum, so we can't vote on anything. We'll have to do our necessary claims, including payroll, over email and any other, in the resolutions. We can get that taken care of tomorrow. So you'll need to, but we can discuss some other things.
Yes.
That need to be talked about. I know Adam is with us, and we will get to him in just a few minutes. So, did anybody have any questions about the minutes? I mean, we can't approve them, but if you had questions, you could ask them. No? Okay. Marla, do you want to give us your report?
Yes. So we had the fair July 30th through August 5th, and that wrapped up. And we did have a little bit of overtime during the fair because we had guys working every night during the fair, taking care of the restrooms and such. And then we had weekend duty for trash pickup and also cleaning the restrooms as well. So that took place during the fair. Overall, we had a good week. Not a whole lot took place, I guess, for the Parks Department, but it was a busy week. So, Community Day of Sharing is coming up October 4th, and our committee has been meeting to prepare for this day. We have some different locations that will be participating, and the Parks Department is one of them. And we are hoping that we can have volunteers go to J. Long Memorial 2nd Street Park to help us plant trees, shrubs, install a fence, and install benches. We have received the benches and the partial supplies for the fence. The rest should be coming this week. And so we'll have all of that ready to go. And we are hoping that we can get that accomplished on the day of sharing. If anybody is interested in signing up to be a part of the Fayette County Day of Sharing, they can go to the Facebook page and see more details. We've shared it on our page, and then there is a Community Day of Sharing page as well, and you can just sign up there. We have finished the pool season, and the pool has been drained, and they have been in the process of winterizing everything and getting it closed up for the winter. So big thank you to everyone that came out this summer and enjoyed the pool, and thank you to all the staff as well. Some programs and things that are taking place currently. The Renaissance Fair and Highland Games. This is something new that we're going to partner with the farmers market with, and they do the farmers market on Thursday evenings at the park for like 2 months, I believe, 2 or 3 months. And so we are going to have a Renaissance Fair in October, and we're going to ask vendors to decorate their booths. We're going to ask people to dress up. And then we are also asking for people to participate in the Renaissance or the Highland Games. And so they can go online and they can sign up for those. We've partnered with BAM Fitness, and they are going to help with strength training leading up to the games. And as long as someone signs up with us to participate in the Highland Games, they can go to BAM Fitness during their open gym time and go through the strength training at no cost. So that's a great partnership that they've decided to do with us. Registrations for the Highland Games are $15 per participant, and we do have men and women competitions, and it will be based on a point system.
Can you tell me
Yes.
what kind of games are these?
Yes, we are going to have a tractor pull. So you have to pull a tractor with
Physically pull a tractor.
physically pull a tractor. We're going to have a pole toss, like an electrical pole toss, but it won't be the full length of what an electrical pole is. It's like shorter. So, and then we're going to have rock tosses, a tug of war, and a couple other things. I think
And is this
Logan
an
has.
individual?
It is an individual
Okay.
contest on strength,
Okay.
and so
Are there age categories?
I
The
don't
cal-
believe so. I believe it's just men.
I'm asking for a friend.
And it's. Are you going to participate, Carrie? I believe it's just set up currently for men and then one for women.
Okay.
If we get to the point where we have an abundance of registrations, which we're hoping for, then we could probably break it up into different groups.
I didn't know if
So.
like teenagers were allowed to sign up.
They are allowed to sign up.
Okay.
High schoolers,
Yes, high schoolers.
can sign up if they wish.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see. We are having trunk or treat. So, let me go back to the Highland Games and Renaissance Fair. There are posters hanging around, and we also have it on our Facebook page. There's a QR code. You can scan that to register. The next thing is trunk or treat signups are currently taking place. There's also, same thing, it's on our Facebook page. We also have flyers everywhere, and there's a QR code, and you can sign up to participate. We're just asking for, it's a partnership with the first responders in the community, and then we're also partnering with different agencies that are going to come as well and park their vehicle and decorate it, dress up, and pass out candy. So we're asking others if they want to participate as well. Different church groups, organizations, whatever, can come. And they can decorate their vehicles. We're hoping to fill the park, so it'll be a great turnout. And then Christmas in the park, same thing. We have another flyer, and I've put all the flyers in your packets, so if you want to share those with others, feel free. We have a QR code, and you can sign up. We are wanting to light up the park during December with Christmas lights and decorations and displays, and so we are having open registrations currently through the end of or the middle of November, beginning of November, I believe it is. And there is no cost to register to participate. So we've had a lot of great feedback. A lot of people have been sending me messages asking about it. And so I think it's going to be a really nice turnout for the month of December with the lights. Some events that are coming up. So the pickleball tournament is September 17th. We are having, and that's the same thing. There's a QR code on the flyer.
Where do all these QR codes take you to?
They take you to a registration link. So that link will take you online, and they're all different.
Okay.
And you will put in your personal information, like your name, phone number. If it's a sporting event, it may ask what your age is. And then that will come to us. That information comes to us to tell us what you're signing up for.
And you can pay for your registration fee online?
You can, yes.
You can, let me repeat that. You can pay online
Yes,
now?
you can pay
for the
online
parking
now.
permit? You don't
It
have to
is-
come in during office hours? You can do
Not
it
anymore.
in the evening?
That is a huge.
That, yeah. Sorry.
that's right.
Let me just repeat that.
Yes,
That's awesome.
you can now
Okay.
pay online, and
Okay.
I know that Kate
helpful.
is excited about that.
Yes.
I believe.
If I could nominate this software to be Employee of the Month, I would.
Yes.
It has been
Yeah.
such an improvement.
Yes, it really has.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay.
So the pickleball tournament is taking place on Sunday, September 17th. There are different age brackets. There's men, women. It's $40 per team, and there's 2 per team. And you can sign up online or you can come in. We've had both do that. Community Day of Sharing is October 4th. Renaissance Fair and Highland Games is October 12th. And First Responders and Community Trunk or Treat is October 30th. And we will begin at 5 p.m. for that. And that is it.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Hi,
Hi,
Vane. Welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you.
It's my job.
The athletic director's report. I'm assuming Logan is.
Logan is currently at soccer drafts tonight.
Yes,
So
I knew that,
that
there
is
was something
going
else
on
going
right
on
now.
tonight, sports related.
Yes, we
All
are
right.
having soccer drafts.
Okay.
That's what happens when you don't.
I can give.
Do you want to
a
go
few,
ahead? Yeah, you want to give us the
in
highlights?
that area? So we had 340 sign up for soccer. That I believe is about average for our fall soccer league. And drafts are tonight, and then they will have some tomorrow night as well. And then the season will begin on September 9th. So everyone should be receiving calls this week from their coaches to start practices, and then the games will begin on September 9th. Once the drafts, and I will explain this because I know we've had a lot of questions. Once the drafts are in place, Logan will have the schedules set up and ready, and then we will post those schedules. But we currently do not have the schedules yet, but we will as soon as drafts are over.
Okay.
Unfortunately, machine pitch softball and flag football had to be canceled due to the lack of registrations that we had. We were really hoping for a good turnout for the flag football, but Brian felt, the CHS football coach felt like we didn't have enough to make enough teams for it to be competitive or have games and such.
Okay.
So we did refund all of those registration fees. So you'll see that in your budget report.
Yeah.
Let's see. I talked about pickleball tournament. That is currently signups are underway. He has been working on a walking club, and he's working with Linda Fitzgerald and Stephanie McCurdy and Sarah Rathburn to start this walking club. And the kickoff event is going to be October 5th at the Miller Building.
Okay.
And then I already talked about the Renaissance Fair, so, yep. That's it.
Fabulous. All right. We're going to back up a minute since now that Vane is here, we do have a quorum. Yes, thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going to ask if there are any additions or corrections to the July meeting. No? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes as?
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? The motion passes. Those are approved. Okay, thank you very much. We don't have any old business. In new business, we do have a couple of resolutions to approve. Resolution 2023-1, 2023-2, 2023-3. Those are transfers from Park Concessions-Field to Park Concessions Soccer. The second one is from repair of building to park subscription and dues. The third one is repair of building and structures to park refunds. Those are the ones that Rosemary suggested that we take from to cover the underages of those line items.
Yes, correct.
Does anybody have any questions? It was explained to me that you have to move from the same number to the same number in the line items to cover the cost. The money is there, it's just, we didn't allocate it enough in each one this year, but next year's budget reflects some changes.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve resolutions 2023-1 to 2023-3?
I will motion we approve.
And do I have a second?
Second again.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. We will need to sign that, so don't forget. Okay. Miscellaneous business. Mr. Adam Stone is with us. Hi, Adam.
Hey, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can. Yes. Thanks for joining us.
For sure. I appreciate you all having me. I'm not sure if it made it in your packets, but have you all had a chance to review or receive a copy of the proposed budget?
It did not make it into our packets.
Okay, that's fine. I can talk through it. So what I'm here tonight for is to discuss the recommended budget for the Common Council, City Council. I'm a budget consultant that works with the city, and I've been fortunate to work with some of you and Marla over the last few months as we've worked through the 2024 budget. And I'll talk through the expense side of that, but first I want to give a little bit of context as to just the work that's went into this, and really shout out to Marla. She's been incredible through this. I mean, from the budget standpoint, it's relatively easy to put numbers on a sheet of paper. It's a whole different thing to put meaning and priorities and just, tough decisions in that. And she has been a partner in that, as well as the other department heads. So really what we're going to present tonight is kind of a recasting of the 2023 budget, and also talk through some of the new items and some of the decisions that have been made to try to make the budget in balance for next year. Ultimately, this is a recommended budget. The Common Council for the City of Connersville ultimately gets the final say on both the total budget that's approved as well as the salary ordinance. So any new positions or new pays are ultimately council's decision, but it's certainly advantageous to have the park board either favorably support a proposed budget or not. So that's what today's discussion is. As far as after this session, the next step is we will be working with the other departments to work towards the overall city-wide budget being produced to council on September 18th. And if all goes according to plan, the budget for 2024 would be up for second reading and adoption by the City Council on October 2nd. By state law, it has to be approved no later than November 1st, or the current budget essentially reverts back to this year's budget, which we don't want to have. So the other thing I would mention is, as you may know, the Parks Fund needed an actual temporary fund loan this year, and Parks and General did. That's really not any sort of sign of anything other than it just points to the importance of making sure the budget is balanced year to year. It is common and typical for funds of a municipality that the majority of their revenues are property tax to need a little bit of assistance to just cash flow the months between the tax distributions, right? So when we get the spring tax installment, that gets receipted to the Parks Fund in June, and then we get another one in December. So between January and May and July and November, really the parks are operating on about 10% of the overall revenues, but still, maintaining the parks and putting on the events and all that stuff. So over time, we want to make sure that we work towards a sufficient operating reserve of approximately 25% of the budget. We feel like that is a good estimate event to strive for. And the budget that you have that we'll show here as proposal is a step in that direction. And the other aspect of that is to make sure that the revenues and expenses are both conservatively estimated and in balance with one another. And that's where Marla's done a tremendous job. She's got some proposed rates and different things that she's got on both sides with the revenue and expense reductions that have been factored into this. And I'm proud to be able to present that the budget that you have, the total budget is $1,100,000, and it actually has, it's just a slight surplus, actually. So, and it ends with about a 16% reserve, or in other words, you'll have about 2 months of kind of emergency funds factored into that. We want to strive for 3 months at least, okay? So let me share my screen and we can talk through the specifics here. And then I'll open it up for any questions that you may have. Oops, hey John, it looks like I don't have the ability to share. No, I can't. Thank you. All right, and I know that room well, so I'm sure this is fairly difficult to see. Is that any better?
We can determine its lines.
Yeah, I can talk through it. Let me
You could point.
let me do something a little different here. Bear with me 1 second.
I apologize if that was not in your packet, the sheet here.
Do we have any copies on board here?
It's not in here. I will send it to you in an email.
Okay. And then let's see if I can zoom in on this. Trying to make this a little bit easier to see. Bear with me here. There we go. We're getting there, I promise. It's about the same. All right, I don't think this is going to get any better. We're going to have to go back to this. Okay, so let me talk through this. So on the expense side, we're primarily talking about the parks operating fund. Okay, so from the city council's perspective, the only fund that is appropriated or budgeted by the council formally is the operating budget. In other words, the fund that receives property tax. Any non-reverting funds that you may have, or sometimes referred to as special NR or special SNR funds. I heard you talking about them at the start of the meeting. Those funds are non-appropriated and not subject to council's budget. All of your salaries, for the most part, a lot of your capital and those kind of things are. So these are all the different proposed line item numbers, but they really work back to 4 primary types of expenditures. You can think about it as personal services, which is salaries, wages, benefits, etc. for employees, supplies, services, and then lastly, capital outlays. So as far as the salaries and wages, these are largely the same as they are currently with a few minor exceptions. One is we factored in a 3% cost of living adjustment for all full-time employees. It's being proposed. We've adjusted the employee share, city share of FICA, pension, cetera. Those are all factored in, and we've updated for the medical and benefits of the employees as well for next year. In addition to those base changes, the budget contemplates a step pay adjustment for one of the positions to create some pay differential. And it also proposes for the first time an assistant parks director or assistant park superintendent to help be able to bring a lot of the goals and priorities to life. And that's why you'll see specifically in the 111 account, it has increase year over year, kind of above the 3%, because we have currently budgeted the additional assistant superintendent in that same line item. There's really not any other major changes here. We reviewed all the part-time hours and wages. We made a few slight tweaks there. Marla can speak to just to make sure that we have competitive job postings. There were a few different reductions to some of the various different supply accounts. Those were largely based on trend. And you can see a lot of the line items stayed the same. So the department's trying to live within its means. We've adjusted the insurance based on trend, et cetera. And again, we can make sure you have a copy of this. But then lastly, as far as a major change, we've got the additional capital specifically for the Miller building. There's some table and chairs factored in there. We also have contemplated large capital lines being prioritized that may be something we can bring back to the board at a later date. So all in all, the 2023 base budget was $1,003,992. The park proposed budget in 2024 is up $96,908, or a proposed budget of $1,100,900. So just shy of pretty good, significant, percentage increase year over year. The city is, in order to fund this budget, about 90% of this budget is coming from property tax. They're actually shifting property tax levy from other funds into parks. So they're raising the park contribution and share of property tax in this proposed budget. And then largely keeping a lot of the program revenues the same, with the exception of a few things that Marla thought based on trend and some of the policy changes there could fund. And overall, the revenue matches the proposed expense. So with that, I'll pause there. I know we covered a lot virtually, which is sometimes challenging. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I'm going to go back to my seat. I moved closer to see.
We did just receive thank you, Kate, a copy of that. Does anyone have any questions about what Adam just said? The park superintendent line item, that includes the creation of the assistant park superintendent. And then the other salaries and wages, there were some increases for some of our workers throughout the year, like pretty much everybody, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there were increases for, and Marley can speak to what those increases are if you want to do that now, or you can email us the details of that.
Yeah, we evaluated all of our summer employees' wages compared to other cities, and such as Summer Discovery, the pool, some of our part-time clerical staff, our custodian, things like that. We evaluated all of those across the board, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to offer a going rate that was close to comparable to other places for our summer help to hopefully want to come and work with us. And we noticed that we were significantly lower than other areas. And so we are hoping that this will help encourage, some high schoolers and others to come in and be a part of the Parks Department next year.
All right.
I also have and made some adjustments to our sports director. And if this is approved, we'll be adding some responsibilities to his position. And that is why there is an increase in that salary position, because he will be taking on more responsibilities.
What's different in the park travel expense?
This year, we did not include any trainings. We did not include the Indiana Parks and Recreation Conference, and that is something that happens every year, and it's encouraged. I was encouraged to go by other superintendents. They said, especially being new, you receive a lot of great training from going to this conference, and so we have added some funding into that area so that I can receive some more training. We also will need to have someone trained in the aquatics facility operator certification as well, and so that was added in. It is, and I
Wow.
believe that we discussed that was trending. We just kind of took what was trending for the last couple years,
Mhm.
and that's why. Mhm.
Yeah, I would just add, we looked through the last few full years, and as well as in the current year through June, kind of halfway point, and everything was pretty much trued up to the trend, with also trying to consider, trajectories of, if things were trending up or down, and we kind of rounded that off. But generally speaking, the budget is a pretty accurate depiction right now of the year-to-date spending, and there's not much fluff in it. There's not much fluff. There's not a lot. There's nothing really hidden there. That's a pretty representative picture of how much is actually being spent today in those accounts on an annualized basis.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions on this one? What else do you have for us, Adam?
You know what? That's all I I just have to say, I think, like I said, it's been a good process. From our perspective, we just wanted to give you all the opportunity to look this over and let us know. We're going to continue moving forward with it throughout the process. To the extent any of you want to be at any of those council meetings, you're obviously welcome to attend. Otherwise, we'll be presenting this on the park's behalf.
Now, I do have a question. You said that 90% of this budget comes from property tax?
Yeah.
And so then the other 10% comes from,
Yep.
Regular income.
Yeah, so I can give you the exact revenue breakdown here. Let's see, make sure I'm.
because I know we've been talking about this a lot of, not only were we behind in what we paid our summer help, but we were also on the low end of what we charge for all of our summer rentals and summer fees and summer everything. We're pretty much the lowest in the area on everything. And I know that you and Marla had been talking a lot, and you'd been pushing a lot to get those numbers up, to come into line with other counties that are very similar to us, because 90% of this budget comes from property tax. Am I saying everything right?
Yeah, everything is very good. And I'll give you a couple other things. So you've got, in addition to property tax, the state of Indiana pays out in proportion with the property tax that any given municipal fund gets. There's a portion of commercial vehicle excise tax, financial institution tax, and then licensed excise tax, which are basically entitled revenues that you're just kind of given. And in 2024, that's about $47,000 a year. So you have that, and you have your property tax that is essentially, for the most part, guaranteed income, okay? Everything else that is what I would call like park programming revenues, you know what I mean, like kind of department-specific revenues. And those are rentals, day passes, recreational programs, and those types of things. And you are correct. I'm a big advocate about parks departments really trying to grow in that area. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why, and then I'll give you an example of a community that's done really well there. So property tax grows, that revenue source grows at about 4% per year. So it's good that it grows, but when you think about a cost of living adjustment of 3%, pensions that are on the rise over time, health insurance growing at 8% per year, it doesn't take very long for their entire revenue growth to essentially be absorbed purely with, cost of living adjustments. And so over time, it just gets really static and it gets really tight, which is basically where your budget's at, right? Your budget's pretty tight. And it's tight because it's just really tied to that revenue source that just doesn't grow that fast. It's just not a very dynamic revenue source. So getting into, it is a little bit of chicken and the egg, right? Because you want more rentals, you have to have really good facilities, and to have really good facilities, you need money to build a facility. So there is a little bit of that chicken and egg, that friction that every parks department has to work through. And we are trying to do that as well here, right? Kind of create that flywheel happening. But you are correct. Making sure that you're looking at your fees and making sure that those are updated regularly for your changes in labor, usage, right? And really trying to maximize your revenue. Because the good thing, you have no competing departments. You're in your own fund. So unlike police, unlike fire, unlike EMS, unlike IT or anything else, there's no other competing departments within your fund. So every dollar that's receipted to your fund is yours to appropriate. Okay, it's yours to use as you see fit. So from a park board perspective, I would highly encourage, one of the best things you can do on the budget side to make it sustainable long term is make sure that you're diversifying that revenue. And you're right now very concentrated to property tax. I'll leave you with an example. This morning I was talking to a community. They're probably 10 years from where Connersville Parks is at right now. They have been investing in new pools, new community centers, amphitheaters. They've done those investments, so they've got a 10-year head start. But what I will tell you is as we're doing their budget, their pool alone did $1 million, and they're about $2 million all in when you look at all their programming revenue. So obviously that is and it's not really it's not a larger city, right? It's about the same population size city. So there's a lot that can be done there, but it takes time and it takes some challenging decisions. The good news is for the park board, you all ultimately, any decision there you make, you're in your own fund, you can control your own destiny there. The property tax revenue is going to give you a really nice, stable, predictable revenue source. But if you want to be able to do more, if you want to be able to provide more staffing in the future, more facilities in the future, if you want to increase the level of service, really looking at those other program fees and trying to get as creative as you can there, I would say as your budget consultant would be highly advantageous. So I hope that helps.
And that brings us back to the creation of the assistant superintendent, which is being created so that we can do more, we can try to diversify, we can stay on top of all that the park is currently doing and wanting to do. There are some big dreams and some big projects on the horizon, and to be able to do those with grace and for the betterment of our community, we need more personnel. We need more manpower. We need more hands on deck. And we need more focus in certain areas that one person alone cannot sustain year after year after year. I know that Marla's put in countless hours since she started this job, way more than any other person that I have met this year, as far as how many hours she actually works, because it's nonstop in the evenings, during vacation, on nights, weekends, everything. And so I think that park assistant superintendent is extremely important to where we want to be in the future. To where Marla wants to lead the Parks Department to. And I'm super happy that you guys have worked out the budget and included that and kept that in there and are willing to go and fight for it. So, Adam, we really, really appreciate all the hard work that you have done and all the hours you have spent with Marla trying to figure this out, trying to make our Parks Department even better next year than what it has been. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely, budgeting is a team sport, and you all have been great. So we're excited. I mean, as far as a budget increase year over year, the parks are getting, one of the top one or two largest increases year over year. And I hope that you all feel that. And what we told the city is, it's pretty clear statewide in Indiana, the communities that are prospering the most invest the most in parks. The facts are pretty clear right now that people are choosing communities based on these amenities, and they're willing to relocate there, and then companies come to them. So from our perspective, our mindset is try to help you all get there, but it takes a willing partner, and you all have been that. So thank you very much. We're humbled by it, and we'll continue to progress this forward. And just again, thank you for your time this evening, and I wish you all the best for the rest of your agenda.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else that they want to speak about on that? No?
Recreation,
All right.
budgets, what?
What's that?
On what?
Budget. On the budget. So Marla, you just let us know, continue to let us know how we can assist in that. Okay, so claims including payroll. You all have had your huge packet to go through and look at and make sure that y'all know what we've been spending all this money on. Wrapping up summer spending. Do I have a motion to approve claims including payroll?
So approved.
And a second?
I'll say.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you very much. Public forum, Mr. Levi. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Please, thank you so much for sitting through all that. I hope you learned something.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on up to the podium and tell us who you are, your name, if you live in Fayette County, in Connersville, and what you're doing here.
Okay, so I'm Levi Marshalik. I live in Connersville, and I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm trying to do an Eagle Scout project and earn the Eagle Scout rank. And I attended a city council meeting probably a couple weeks ago, and spoke to the board about what I could do for the community that would benefit the most. And I got in touch with Diane, and she pointed me towards the Parks Department. And I had talked with Carrie first, and then Mrs. Steele, about what would be good. And I thought about it, and the project that I had in mind was a fitness sign throughout the parks. I'm really passionate about fitness. I think it's a great thing. I think it helps a lot with your health. And so one of the things was a health and fitness sign. I'll pass out the Navigating the Eagle Scout project to you guys. It just tells a little bit about what the Eagle Scout project is, how long it's been in progress, what kinds of things Eagle Scouts do for their projects, and then I might explain a little bit about what, like the logistics of what I might do. So the first thing was the signs were designed so that you would do an exercise at each of these signs, and there would be about 4 passed around throughout the park. I drew up a little bit of what it might look like, what the loop might look like. And so it starts around the basketball courts, and it goes down past the derby and comes around towards the pavilion, and then loops back around past the pickleball courts towards back to the basketball hoops. And so I drew this up, and this is just an estimate, but I had planned around it being around 800 meters, and you know, you can loop it once, twice, however many times you want. And each sign would have fitness like push-ups, planks, sit-ups, anything that, like any bodyweight exercise. People don't need equipment, people don't need anything to do it other than just themselves. I have an example of what these signs, like what would entail on the sign, and also what the sign might look like. The first thing on the sign was just like how to do the exercise, 3 different levels of what the exercise you can do it at, so like normal, mid-level, and then challenging. It describes why it would be a beneficial exercise to do. And then on the side there, you can see that there's sponsors. And it says, you know, that this health circuit is sponsored by local businesses in Vane County. And we could either put a couple on each sign, or we could put a list of all the sponsors on each sign. And that says thanks to the Connersville Parks and their help with this project. And in the bottom right corner, there's a QR code that patrons, or that you could scan to go to a YouTube channel that I had planned on creating, just to show what the exercises are, how to do them, and maybe just give it a little bit more explanation. I have a list of businesses that I plan on sponsoring the project if you guys approve it. And I planned on each of them giving around $200 to $300, or going down to around $100 and reaching out to more businesses. If you guys want to know the sponsors, I can tell you, but if you just want to think about it for a little bit, that's all right too. So I'm here to answer your questions.
So do you take this on completely? Do you have to, like, you know, are you wanting us to go out and get the sponsors?
No. So this requires almost no effort from you guys. I'll be in touch with you guys. But the point of the Eagle Scout project is to use the leadership and management skills that you've learned throughout the ranks to manage other people, and to recruit businesses by yourself, recruit manpower, and get people to kind of, and you just facilitate the project and observe it and manage it. So that's not the biggest goal, I mean, besides improvement.
I like
And then
those kinds of
whoever-
projects.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to the parks. all of the funds will be donated by the businesses, or like the fabrication of the signs could be donated by Mac Tools or something like that. So it doesn't cost the parks a single dime. And any money that's left over to the parks will be given to the parks, but I can.
Yeah. Marla, this kind of seems like it goes hand in hand with what you've been speaking about for the past several months of fitness and wellness and getting the
Yeah.
folks in the community more active and engaged in parks and am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. I think it's something great that can be added to the park. And we do have people that have asked, and I know that Logan was working with the walking club, and they were actually considering looking at some signage to put at different locations so that people can stop and do exercises. And that was right around the same time. So that tie it
So
into
you might
their
even
club.
have
They
a whole
contacted me,
people,
so-
a whole community of people who might want to help volunteer to do this and promote it and
Yeah.
And do it
So
together.
I think it's a great addition that we can add to Roberts Park. And we have people walking every single day there, and so I know that they will utilize these as well during their walk. So I think it's a wonderful project. And thank you very much for bringing it to the
Now,
park.
did you have me in mind when you put the low level here? Because I appreciate that very much. I'm telling you.
Everybody needs a low level. sometimes.
That's right. You got to start someplace,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
even the
that's right.
beginners who just
Yeah.
are out for a, stroll through the park could stop and say, "Oh, hey, maybe I could do that."
Something's better than nothing.
And
Is there any
I do-
a connection with the river, with canal, using water sports, kayak, canoeing?
No, I don't have a plan in that for place yet. But one of the things I did want to bring up is that
is.
the signs, I don't plan on numbering them because if anybody ever wanted to add on to these and like
That's a
add in
good idea.
sports like kayaking and
Yeah.
stuff, you can place them throughout the park and
That's good.
add on and make different kind of loops and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So is the idea that you would stop at this sign and like just step into the grass and do the activity, or?
That would be the
Yeah.
the idea. And the planks and the push-ups and that kind of stuff. You could do it in the grass. And I wasn't planning on doing anything that would.
Yeah.
And Levi, you did not tell us your age. Are you allowed to tell us your age? I don't know. Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm 14. I'll turn 15 in
He's
September,
14.
and I'm 9th grade at CHS. So.
All right, so you go. And fitness is just a passion of yours. Do you regularly work out? Are you involved in other sports?
Yeah.
Tell us what you did this past weekend, Levi.
Well, this past weekend I went to Chicago and competed in one of the world's biggest triathlons, which is a pretty cool experience. And it was awesome. It was very cool. There's over 8,000 participants, and it was just a weekend that it's all about just triathlons. It was awesome. It's very cool.
Was that
And
your first?
It was my first. It was
Was
my
it?
first triathlon.
Will
so-
it be your last?
No,
Oh,
definitely not gonna be my last. I'll definitely be doing them next year when it
Nice.
warms up. So
No, will you be doing the Highland Games, because those look really brutal?
I don't know if I can pull a tractor, but yeah, that might be something I try. So
All right. Well, I think that does he need our approval? Do you need our approval? Do we need an approval to encourage Mr. Marjalik to work with Marla to pursue this awesome fitness station Eagle Scout project? I believe I need a motion of that. Anyone?
Well, I'm moving a lot. I was a Boy Scout, but
Yes.
I move we accept his proposal and we support it.
Okay.
I'd like to second.
All right. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed? Fantastic. Levi, please work with Ms. Steele on this project. Keep her up to date. Let us know if you need anything from us.
okay.
I know that she will probably want to work with you on that list of sponsors
Yep.
just to make sure that she knows who and what and everything like that. And
Yeah,
let us know if you need any help or support.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we will bring him back.
Thank you so
and-
much. This is awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for being an
Exciting.
awesome teenager
Yeah.
and
And how many
wanting
supporters?
to help better our community through the Parks Department.
How many supporters do you think you have with, including you,
Like manpower or like sponsors?
manpower?
I've got a lot of people in scouting who have done scouting before, so I think I've got quite a few just friends and family who have done scouting that would be willing to help. And then, like I said, some of the labor could be donated by, I know some people from concrete to welding and that kind of thing. So I think I've got a good amount.
Wow.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
you.
Thank
And
you
good
very
luck.
much.
Yes.
If you don't mind, I need a project beneficiary approval signage, so
That would be
Yep.
yes.
Okay.
And we'll make sure to bring him back when the project is finished, and we will have some pictures and things
What
to
kind of-
share, and he can share
What kind of
about the
timeline?
experience
Yeah.
and everything, and
And I will come back once the project is complete.
Are we talking like 6 years? What are we talking?
Well, I was
Before you
hoping I'd
graduate
have
from
it.
high school?
Hoping that we'll have it done by towards the end of May. As soon as the plan is to get all the funding and all the planning together, and then once it gets warm out to put this in
To
place.
implement it.
It's a little late now, so
Yeah.
I don't know how concrete does with gold, but sometimes it's been,
Figure it out.
yeah, all there.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
I'm sorry I didn't
No?
mention this before. We're at
Okay. What you need?
At the Rotary meeting today, as a matter of fact, we found out about the tri-state food truck.
Oh yeah, the big huge
Yeah,
event
yeah.
going on at the airport.
Yep.
In September, right?
Okay, you all know about it.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
Just
November
recently
30th from 12 to 9.
September
I
30th.
mean, September 30th.
Yeah, that's all right.
From 12 to 9 at the airport, and it'll be all arranged so that you can
Yes.
park and participate and vote on the people.
Oh yeah, eat
Yeah.
lots
Sounds
of
like a great-
food.
Sounds like a great event.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
The
Thank
park
you.
will have the park will have a tent and a lounge area that if you're there and you want to break from the sun or you want to just whatever sit down,
Nice.
So
All
far,
right.
they're about
the park
95.
will have a tent there. So,
Okay. Great.
yep.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
Any
Anything
comments?
else?
Anybody want?
No? All right. If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I will second.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. And I didn't bang the gavel at the beginning, sorry.